I know it's Sunday, and then I really appreciate you guys coming out and supporting us, you know, and I'll just try to show you a couple cool, easy steps how to wash your car and not put any scratches in it, you know. So today we're gonna work on Danny's car. Unfortunately, we're hoping actually for worse weather, but now because of the sun, the car is really hot. So one of the golden rules is don't do anything in direct sunlight. But you know, we're kind of limited on some options. So what we're gonna do is I'm gonna show you how we clean wheels using some of the stuff we have here. We're gonna do just one wheel, and then we're gonna do if you guys want to come over to this side, and we're gonna do just one of the wheels, and then we're gonna wash the car and probably bring it inside so I can just give you kind of some details about how to wax it and how to dry it and stuff. So later on, if you can grab a business card from Danny, and if you can text to his number your email address, I'm gonna send you a list of all the products that we use and which are safe to use for you guys as well, to you know, clean your vehicles afterwards. So one of the really essential tools for wheel cleaning is these brushes. They're called easy brushes. They're about 25 bucks a piece. And there's literally nothing better that gets like behind a caliper and cleaning all these wheel barrels and stuff. We always separate all the kind of washes into 3 buckets. So we got a wheel bucket that's only going to be used for wheels, and then we have 2 buckets with water, and I'll show you how to do 2 bucket wash, and I'll explain to you why we have the 2 buckets for that. So let's just start with wheels. Ideally, you wanna have the wheels cooled down, so if you've been driving, you know, if the calipers are hot, you don't really want to apply any product to it because it can stain the calipers, stain the wheels and stuff. So you want to kind of to cool it down. And obviously one of the things what you can do is you can pre-rinse them. But again, in general, if the brakes are still hot, you don't want to even spray any water on it. There's several types of wheel cleaners that you can use, and they usually are separated in 2 categories: acidic ones and non-acidic ones. Acidic wheel cleaners work better, but you gotta work really fast with them, because again, they can stain the paint or they can stain the wheels. If you have chrome or aluminum wheels, do not use acidic wheel cleaners because they will stain it. Let's say aluminum wheel is going to get super milky. It's going to be really hard to clean them up. So that's why we always prefer to use non-acidic wheel cleaners. You can get them from all the AutoZones and stuff. Like all wheel cleaner from Maguire's is a pretty good product. Some of them are super fancy and they like turn colors. So you spray it on as a white foam and they become purple. They have just some sort of additives in it that highlights the brake dust and like heavy metals, and they lift the contaminants from the surface better. This is non-acidic wheel cleaner, so you can just spray it all over it, and you could actually leave it probably up to like a couple of minutes on the wheels, and nothing bad's gonna happen to it. Sometimes you have to leave the wheel cleaner on if you have like dirtier wheels, and if you want to get those barrels cleaned up really well. So you gotta leave it to soak, but like I said, you just gotta be super careful. You got to make sure it does not contain acid, because that can damage the wheels. So we always start from the inside of the barrels, and this bad boy is golden. So also what you want to do is you kind of don't want to directly look at the brush, because every time you pull it out, it splatters. So you can get all that wheel cleaner in your face, and I have done that many times. So you can kind of I like to do it from the side to get like inside the wheel barrels, and I'm also not directly in front of it, because you can see it's already on my jeans and stuff. So yeah, these brushes are pretty hard, but they're still harmless. They're not gonna scratch the wheels. So with these, there's like a smaller size that you can get in tighter spaces between the caliper and the wheel. Like the cars like those GTRs, they have bigger calipers, so they might not have enough space to put one of these big boys through it. So you can take one of the small ones and just get around it. And just like that, you just go all the way around it. Straight, straight, straight. You can also use a rag if you want to kind of protect yourself a little bit more. Just kind of put it in front of the brush, and then it's not going to splatter all over the place. With all these scrubbings, when you scrub something pretty heavy, you always want to keep the surface pretty, like, as lubricated as possible. So just because if you pick up some like little rocks or anything in the brush, at least you're not going to scrape them into the wheel if the surface is pretty lubricated. Then we take one of these detailing brushes. You can get a set from Amazon for about $12, I think, 3 of them, and just go over all the spokes and all these crevices. Here's one really important tip: if you have black painted wheels, don't use these on the front surfaces, because you will put scratches in them. Literally one time, if you do it even once, you'll put scratches in them. So that's why you need to have one of these bad boys. This is a wheel mitt. It's super plush, again used only for wheels, and then it's easy to rinse it off if you drop it on the floor, or pick if you pick any rocks or anything up. So with these wheels, you can literally get behind it and go over it, like all the spoke by spoke. I would recommend you to use gloves at all times. I normally do, but unfortunately because of the corona, they all sold out. So no gloves for me. I could take Danny's gloves, but they don't fit me. Wait. So these brushes are really good to get around the lug nuts. Okay, so you can get in all these crevices, really cool. And all you gotta do is just kind of do like a nice little circle motion around here. And also sometimes there's more like caked up dust in these areas, so you can scrape it out. And obviously the front of the caliper. Try not to keep it too dry. Danny, who washed your car before? It's not in bad shape. Ready to scrub the bubbles. Alright, so that's pretty much there's no real art about it, you know, but these specific brushes make your life so much easier, because it's always easy to clean the front, but if you don't have these, and like specifically on the cars with bigger calipers, you can never get the barrels clean. And the longer you're gonna keep them dirty, the harder it's gonna be to clean them up afterwards. To give you an idea what damages wheels, what happens is even on the brand new wheels, like, you know, let's say on your truck, if you don't clean the wheel barrels, the dirt starts to cake up, okay, and it starts to build like a level of thickness that it starts to absorb the heat from the calipers and stuff. When it's thick enough to start absorbing heat, then it starts to bake into the wheel. And once that's done, like, in some occasions you can polish it out, on some you cannot anymore, and then the barrel can only be repainted or powder coated. So it's pretty important. It's pretty important to do it. That's kind of slow, isn't it? Yeah, so it's pretty important if you have a car with new wheels or a new car, it's really important to keep those barrels clean. Otherwise, you know, the longer you leave it, the bigger possibility is that you're not going to be able to scrape it off later on. And if you really have to try harder, like if it doesn't work with all these brushes, and sometimes you got to swap out the wheel cleaners to something, you know, something more effective. But if it doesn't work, you can always take the wheel off and try to clay bar the barrels. That helps a lot as well. Okay, any questions about the wheels?
You got soap in that bucket?
No.
Just water.
You can add the soap for sure. Again, maybe for lubrication purposes you can, but normally like these wheel cleaners have enough kind of, you know, juice. But any other questions, guys, about wheels?
Do you recommend this power washer, like this electric version?
Yeah. So this little thing, where is it, from Home Depot, I think so. In the winter you can get it for about $70. Now it's about 100. It has enough power. We have had pretty much every single power washer that there is in they've been ever made. We just tested them, and this is one of the best ones. Obviously it's super compact, you know, if you don't have a lot of space, you know, because we take it on the road, and then you can dismount it and put it together really quickly. And yeah, it's cheap and cheerful, you know, and does the job. You can literally like even power wash like decks and stuff. It has enough power. Any other questions about the wheels, guys?
You said that wasn't good for the aluminum wheels. What would you use instead?
So you just gotta look at the specific wheel cleaners. On the back they would say if it's acidic or non-acidic. So on aluminum wheels, you should use non-acidic wheel cleaner. Yeah. And like I said, so sometimes if it doesn't work the first time, try to soak it a little bit longer, but just kind of keep an eye on it, you know. And also, if you're ever not sure about using something on some surfaces, always just do a little like test spot, you know, somewhere where it's not going to be that visible if you mess it up, you know. That's what we do always on the cars. Well, before we polish it, we always pick a spot, you know, if we're not familiar with that type of paint or vehicle, we always take a spot. Then, you know, if we mess it up, it's just a bumper. You know, we can repaint it, you know. But yeah, no. So any other questions, guys, about wheels?
What size tip are you using on the power wash?
Say again?
The tip on the, what is it?
So this one is just, I don't know what it's called.
Is it like a 40 degree, 40 or?
Yeah. Usually these come with 2 or 3 of these bad boys. There's the spinning one.
Yeah, I've got one of those.
Yeah, the spinning ones are cool, you know. Some people in the industry kind of like badmouth it because they think it damages the paint, but it doesn't really. I mean, if you keep it like that close,
yeah.
And if you have like a 2000 psi power washer, it probably would create some damage. But I find that the spinning ones are really good for wheel wells because you can get in there, and like on the cars like a Tahoe, they have carpeted wheel wells.
Yeah.
That's for the sound.
Yeah.
That just absorbs more sound, and also it's not noisy.
For the
So
paint to
that's-
clean.
Yeah, it's paint to clean. Yeah, well, use the spinning thing. It helps really well. Only thing is to remember also with Mercedes, okay? Those if you keep it too close, you can actually damage the fabric. You're not gonna ruin it, but you will leave the mark, and you will see. Don't ask me how I know. Yeah, you will leave a mark, and it's gonna be visible. But yeah, with these are pretty safe. Where's Danny? Yeah, you can put them pretty cool. Yeah. But yeah, these are pretty safe, you know, to keep super close. Oh, about these tips, the red one, the pointy one, try not to use it in the car. Like if you really have to, you know, to get maybe somewhere like underneath that you can't reach, because that can damage paint, you know. Yeah. And again, something bigger than 1600 psi, you don't want to be near it, you know. That's made for like maybe like power washing decks, like pools or whatever.
You wouldn't use that at all.
No. Yeah, because I've seen my guys using it on like a really bad, like dirty trucks, and I hate it because if they get too close, like even like on the floor mats,
yeah,
like it damages it. Yeah, it leaves a mark, so it scratches it.
And really, the rubber on the tire.
Yeah, I haven't seen it, but probably, yeah. Like probably, and also like if you have like a classic car, you know, I assume that, you know, the rubber compound can be way delicate, you know, than all these new things. Any questions about wheels? Okay, let's move on. Okay, so now we have an overcast, which is a little bit better. So the main reason why you don't want to wash a car in direct sunlight is if the weather is about 70 degrees outside, these panels get up to about 100 degrees, you know, and even more. It depends on what kind of paint is. You know, white car's probably not gonna heat up that much, you know, but something like this with metallic, it gets up to about 100 degrees. One of the things that most of you guys don't have, and you don't need it, is a water filter. Okay, so all the tap water contains a lot of calcium, and what it does when you spray it and it leaves a watermark, so the water actually dries out and leaves the calcium deposits. Yeah.
Pain in the ass to get off.
Yeah, and at some occasions, even on the brand new cars, like if you don't have any type of protection on your car, like a thick wax or ceramic coating, things like that, it can etch the paint in hours. And the only thing you can do sometimes is literally to wet sand the car, or sometimes even repaint the car. So it's super important to never leave, you know, any water sitting on the vehicle when the weather is pretty hot. So one of the things to remember washing your own car, you always have to start with rinsing the vehicle first, because you want to remove as many like loose contaminants as you can. Because like even this car looks pretty clean. I'm sure from here we could pick up little pieces of rock and something like that, you know. So yeah, so sand, and also you pick up tar and things like that. So you always want to rinse it off first to put as less scratches in as possible. Anytime you put any type of abrasivation, you put anytime you scratch a car, anytime you put something and drag it across, you know, you don't want anything to be in between, you know, the rag or a mitt or one of these things. You don't want to have any sand on it or anything. So always start to rinse your car from top to bottom. And that's how we're gonna do it. One important thing about these blades, some of the cars you can push the blades up, like on this car, and then you can tilt them back. Okay, really important thing, don't be lazy. Do each side if you can do it on your car. Like Lexuses specifically, you cannot pull it up. When you change your blades, you literally got to do it with two hands because it's hitting this part. Okay, and on Lexuses, like if you pull it too hard, it always damages like this edge. You can literally look at any Lexus that has been to AutoZone. These guys just doing that and just hit it really hard. So yeah, so for some cars you can pull it up like this. And I've been the lazy guy when I try to do it. Well, this one is pretty close, but normally the other blade is so far that you kind of like just like pushing it back without having any of control of that arm. I'll pay probably for 3 windshields. Because what happens a lot of times, if these blades are not fitted on properly, sometimes they fall out. So when the blades are working, they're fine, but as soon as you lift it from surface and there's no pressure from here, they just fall down. And then next thing is this thing goes back and hits the windshield. Trust me, that sound is painful. That sound every time it sounds about $500. Yeah. So yeah. If it's pretty, like if it's further away, just go around the car, and then just, you know, to play safe. Let's pick it up. In case if you have to move the vehicle at any point when the blades are up, thank you, Southwest. At any point, let's say if I would have to move the vehicle right now, don't forget to put blades down, because with a lot of cars they have rain sensors and stuff. As soon as you're going to start the car, the blade's going to go back to the default position, and what they're going to do, again, hit your windshield and scratch these parts again. Okay, so let's rinse it off. You always have to start with wheels. Very important, because if you're gonna wash the rest of the vehicle and you're gonna do the wheels afterwards, there's gonna be a lot of splatter, you know, wheel cleaner and dirt and mud that's gonna come off it, so you have to redo it again. Same with engine. Engine you gotta do the first, because otherwise you clean the rest of the car, and I've done it. And then somebody's like, oh yeah, I want the engine to be down, so okay. Because every time you clean the engine compartment, like engine bay, again, splatters goes everywhere, you know, you gotta redo it again. So start with engine, then the wheels, and then the cage. Some cars have a bigger gap here, okay? But not this one. Another quick tip, always keep an eye where the hose is going, because I've seen a lot of that happen. Sorry, Danny. But yeah, I see that a lot happening, and then the biggest problem is this hose is getting dragged on the floor, picks up rocks, things like that, and all it needs, you know, two pretty firm hits, and you can't get that scratch out. So always kind of keep an eye where this thing's going. you like gadgets, you can actually buy little plastic corners that you can put underneath the wheel that doesn't get the hose jammed up. So you don't have to pull that hard. Like it just kind of goes around it and you get one of those.
What do you do if you drop a towel like that? Throw it away.
Good question. If you drop a towel like that, it has to go in trash. Or you can use it for wheels or something like that. Because, and that happens a lot. So I always clip one underneath my belt. Like I walked into like grocery stores and stuff, always I got like 6 towels hanging out. It looks stupid. But, so yeah, if you drop a towel on the floor, or for example one of these mitts, it's not good for washing the car anymore. Because even power washing it and stuff, it's not gonna bring it back to life. Like these plush microfiber towels, these are 400 GSM. That's how they measure like the thickness of them. Like once you drop it on the floor, you cannot get dirt out of those fibers anymore. And literally, those towels are no good. You can, if it's not that dirty, you can maybe use it on interior, you know, and things like that, or wheels. But yeah, in general, if we drop one of these, it goes in trash. Yeah, and we only wash them one time. So we wash them even specifically after ceramic coatings. They absorb so much coatings. We wash them once and then we use them on interior and wheels. Because otherwise there's those quartz particles, literally it's like glass, and you just keep putting scratches back in the car. So, let me show you the 2-bucket method quickly. So two buckets, both of them just have water in it, and both of them has these things called grit guards. If I can pull it out. These things, grit guards. So the idea behind this is anytime dirt, some dirt drops into the bucket, it goes underneath the grit guard. It doesn't get mixed around in the water afterwards. So it doesn't pick up in the mitt, and then again you're not putting back the scratches in the car. So always use these. A 2-bucket method. We'll put a little bit of soap. Most of the soap you got to put probably about 2-3 ounces. That's enough. And I can tell you the difference between most of the soaps. So mix it up. So this is nice and bubbly. Idea behind 2-bucket method is first you take a soap, dip your mitt in the soapy water, okay? Always start to wash your car top to bottom, okay? Technically, at any point when you wash your car, like if you start scrubbing it, you do something wrong, or you don't have the right product, or the surface is not lubricated enough. Like, except bugs, you know, they can be painted back. But like even like bird droppings and stuff, you don't want to put too much pressure on it. If it's not coming off, maybe you have to use some sort of like cleaner, like all-purpose cleaner or something on specific parts. But yeah, just don't scrub it too much. So let's say we do like part of the car, so about here, and then technically if you rinse your car really well, you're not gonna have that much dirt left on the car, like loose dirt. But still, going through all these seams and stuff, you can pick up like pieces of sand or pieces of, let's say, you know, tree stuff. I don't know, whatever it is.
Helicopters.
Yeah, helicopters or bugs, you know. So then you want to dip it in the clean water, and you kind of just want to rinse it and let the water kind of drop out of it. That usually picks up any loose debris, and again it drops in the bottom of the bucket and it gets in the grit guard. It's not going to mix around. Squeeze it out, dip it back in the soapy water. The pattern is not that important, you know. You can do cross pattern, you know, you can do straight. If your car is waxed or ceramic coated, technically all you have to do is you got to drag the mitt across the surface. You don't have to scrub anything. And that's windows. I can already see like it's start to build the water spots on it. So we kind of should be a little bit faster about it. But yeah, if you don't have an option of a shade, try to do it in the evening or early morning before it gets that hot. So I just stopped right here because I want to show you something. Let's rinse it. I like to, when I wash the cars, I like to go as low as this from beginning, all the way around the car, because from about here, this is the dirtiest area. So you want to go all the way around till about there, and then you want to hit this as a last resort, because this part of the car will get scratched more anyway, you know. So if it picks any debris up, at least you kind of rub it on the bottom of the car. Same around like these wheel wells and stuff. So usually I go up to right here. And yeah, it really sucks if you drop one of these. These are about $10. They're just no good for anything else except like wheels and stuff. There's kind of never too much of a soap, you know, it's never kind of too wet. Let me speed up. And I also leave the grill last as well, because there's normally a lot of bugs and stuff on it. Mirrors. Danny, we're not going to wash the bottom of the car. Just for demonstration purposes, we'll do one side. Okay, so this would be the last part that I will wash. And I can promise, see?
Yeah.
This is what it picked up. So that's why you don't want to now get it to, you don't want to wash one side and now dirty Mitt to put it on the other side. Okay? Quickly, who knows what this thing is?
Foam cannon.
Yeah. It's a foam cannon. Guess what? It looks really cool.
It is really good.
Yeah. Right? Look it out. Looks pretty cool, right? We use it every time. We have different soaps and different foam cannons for the prep. Then we have soap with the wax, and then we have soap for ceramic coated cars. It looks real cool. It only adds lubrication to the whole process. There has been some pro detailers who have tested a lot of spots. It's kind of just looks cool. It does not have a really big purpose, to be fair. But every time we do it outside someone's house, the neighbors come out like, wow, that was so cool. And you can get a blue one, you can get pink soap, you know, all that stuff. But like I said, it actually doesn't serve that much of a purpose. If you want to soak something like, let's say the wheel wells, you know, like carpet wheel wells, you know, if they're super muddy, that actually works pretty good, because you can spray it all the way around, you know, you can leave it on for a while, and then it's just, you know, it breaks up the dirt. Very important thing. Not so much for this specific power washer because it's not very powerful, but very important thing is every time you put this nozzle back in, okay? Yeah, the first time you try to spray something, spray it away from the car, because a lot of times this happens. Okay. If it's not propped in properly, again on this power washer it's not important, but if you have more like an industrial power washer, it can actually take a glass out. Like it can actually go through the glass if it's not propped in properly. So always the first spray, kind of do it away from yourself. Do it away from yourself and away from the car. Okay. Also, some soap, some of the soap is coming out with added wax for, let's say, for not ceramic coated cars. and then you can add the soap in a foam cannon, and leaving it on, it actually adds a better layer of protection, you know, instead of just washing it with the mitt, you know. So there is some benefits actually from it. Always make sure that's locked. And a lot of American cars don't actually have a cap, so never spray it directly. If you really have to clean it up, the worst case scenario, what you can do is you can take a rag, stuff it in the hole. Yeah, you can take a rag, stuff it in the hole, and then just quickly wash around it. That's not gonna create any damage. But yeah, if you're gonna start to spray like one of these directly at a gas tank without a cap, you have a lot of fun. For those of you guys who really like to wash your cars yourself, and if you have a space for it and a budget for it, I would highly recommend to invest in water not the ionizer. Oh, what is that system called? Anyway, there's filter systems that you can buy. They start from about $200, I think so. You can find them on Amazon. That removes calcium particles from water. So if it goes through that filter, it's called spotless wash. That's what it's called. If you put that in between your hose and the power washer, the good thing is you can rinse your car in direct sunlight and just let it dry. When the water dries out, it evaporates and it doesn't leave any hot water spots. It's pretty cool. Pretty nice. And you can even do that in the weather like this, or even if it's hotter. Okay. Let me show you how to dry a car, and then we're going to talk about what kind of shampoo is right for you. So I'm going to use these towels at the moment, but you can buy specific drying towels. They vary between $10 to like $30 in sizes. You always want to use clean, dry towel. It's going to leave less streaks, and you always have to start with doing the glass first, because bless you, because the hard water spots first going to appear on the glass. Okay. Again, if you have a space and a budget for it, invest in a leaf blower, or you can buy, and we can add that to the list, to the Amazon list. It's called pet hair blower. It looks like a reverse vacuum, and you can get it even with heated air, and they are only about $80, and they're really cool. Or if you have a compressor, you can use a compressed air. It also works really well, because again, even more if your car has pretty delicate paint, or black paint specifically, because you don't want to put any scratches into it, it's always the best to air dry it instead of, again, we put in some friction. And just in case, like I didn't wash the front of it, in case if I pick any contaminants again, I can rub it into the paint, So the idea behind all this is the less abrasive the less abrasion, is that a word? Abrasion? Abrasive? The less abrasive stuff you put on it, the longer the paint's gonna live and the less scratches you get. Again, if you kind of do these step-by-step things to prep the vehicle before you do all this, let's say drying and scraping, your paint's gonna be pretty clean, and you're not gonna have like big piece of dirt that will leave some marks in paint. Let me just hit this. Obviously, for demonstration purposes, I'm kind of going over it a little bit quicker than I normally would. Another good thing that you can use as a drying aid is there's a product from Mcguire Spray Wax, which is I think in this bottle here, and you can use it as a drying aid. So even when the vehicle is wet still, you can just mist it and dry at the same time. And what this will add, it just adds like a nice thickness, sleekness to the surface. And you're also not scraping the paint that much. Okay, quickly about the soap. What kind of soap should you use on your car? First of all, I would highly recommend not to use cheap soap. By cheap I mean something like, turtle wax. I know there's a lot of turtle wax fans everywhere. It's not a bad product, but you don't want to wash $20,000, $30,000, $100,000 car with $2 soap. It just doesn't make any sense. Also, because a lot of cheaper soap is a concentrate, and if you don't dilute it in the right ratio, it can damage the paint, it can stain the plastic, it can stain the wheels, and if you have wrapped car or wrapped parts, it can definitely stain the wrap. So if your car is ceramic coated, do not use a shampoo with a wax. It's completely pointless and it clogs up the pores of ceramic coating. What happens is it clogs it up, so technically your wax works but your ceramic coating doesn't. And then after a while your ceramic coating stops beating because the pores are clogged up. And then what you gotta do is you gotta have special shampoo with higher pH level, which cleanses the pores of the coating. And then again, just don't wax it. If your car is ceramic coated, highly recommend, there's certain brands, again, we're gonna put that on that list. It has, instead of waxes, it has SiO2, which is silicon dioxide, which is part of ceramic coating, and it's actually gonna top your coating. So you wash your car and you don't wash, like ceramic coating, you can't just wash it off. But let's say if you use the right soap, you actually top the coating. And if you do it the right way, like let's say the way we did it, you actually just top the coating, so it's actually gonna live for longer. Another thing, a lot of soap has fillers in it, which is a silicone. So that's why, let's say you wash the car, like even a black car. Yeah, so you wash, let's say a black car, and has a lot of fillers in it. So it fills in all these little scratches and it looks cool, but it actually obviously doesn't fix anything. If you really want to see what your car looks like, or if you're gonna apply wax on top of it, on any type of sealant, wash it with Dawn. Dilute it again about 2 ounces. Don't use Dawn all the time because it strips everything. That's what we use pretty much in the preparation before ceramic coating. You wash it with Dawn, it shows you the real colors of your car. Then you put the light to it, you're like, oh, yeah. So yeah, so you just gotta check out, I'd say like, there's Adam's products, good, like this is really good soap. Most of the soap is good for foam cannons. On average, for the most part, you got to put about that much soap in the foam cannon, and the rest of it goes water. Don't put just the soap; it's just too much, and it's going to be really hard to rinse it off, and your driveway is going to look crap as well. But yeah, but if let's say if you wax your car, then yeah, you can use soap with fillers and waxes and stuff. There's nothing wrong with it, but just kind of, yeah. I see a lot of guys washing a $100,000 car with $3 soap. Like, no, I don't like it. Like even Adam soap is about $10, $15, for a bottle. Obviously, we need to clean the door jambs. I need good cleaning too. I'll show you how to do that too. But yeah, just to go on back. First thing is rinse it. Then you can snow foam it or not. Use 2-bucket method. If your car is a bit older, don't bother with 2-bucket method. It's a waste of time if it's kind of too late, you know. Use a snow foam, and if your car is rinsed properly, you're not gonna put that much, you know, scratches back into the paint. But again, you know, if you have spent some money on paint correction or you have a new vehicle, then yeah, definitely use 2-bucket method, because it's definitely gonna be better. It's gonna prolong the life of it. All these, so going into the waxes, back in the day, this is a lot of times with the older crowd, you know, when we go and do mobile details, you know, the client comes on, they're like, I didn't see the buffer, you know, well, why not buffing it, you know? So back in the day, you could only, like quality paint sealants and waxes, you could only apply with a buffer, because buffer creates heat and it melts the wax, and wax bonds better with the surface. These days, that's not how we do it. You can do it, but it's really unnecessary, because again, anything that you put on a paint and it spins, if something gets in that pad, you put pigtails in it. That's what we call the pigtails, these little marks, you know, you can scratch the paint. And if you don't really know what you're doing with a buffer, don't use it. It's just, there's no need for it. Like these days, well, these bottles are like not really marked, but in these days, there's so many drying aids, spray waxes, spray sealants, ceramic sealants, ceramic waxes. There's all these things that does not take so much effort like back in the day. You know, you open that can, you know, and it takes you all day, and there's all sorts of like stuff left in between the crevices. There's no point of it. To give you a background of waxes, the waxes and sealants on top of the paint, they bond to each other's components. Okay, they don't bond with the surface. They literally stick to each other's components. That's why it doesn't last that long. Things like ceramic coatings, nano ceramics, like they're so thin that they fill in the pores of the clear coat and then build the top, like layer on top. You know, so you can get drying aids like this product called Adam's Garden Gloss. You can literally spray it on a wet car and just remove the residue, and it gives you probably about like 3-4 months protection. And like this is even on a hot car. This is Mcguire Spray Wax. Why I love this product is it's easy to use it, like in a hot environment. But you see, it's already staying. So you got
anything like finishing detail,
like quick detailer. They give me quick details.
Yeah.
So quick detailers are good. Quick detailer is kind of like almost like a watered down wax. It just adds a lot of lubrication. I know why this thing streaks, because this car is actually ceramic coated. Sorry, Danny. But yeah, quick detailers are cool. There's also things called rinseless wash or waterless wash that you can see in the blue bottle. Things like quick detailers, or let's say a rinseless wash, those products are the best to use in between washes. Okay, so let's say your car is not that dirty, you believe that it's just a dusty pollen and all this stuff. The best way to do it is mist the surface, take a plush microfiber towel, turn it to the, which is plush, is this one, and the first 2 wipes go the same direction, and with almost no pressure. You just kind of drag it across the surface. Okay, with that, you're just making sure if there is some parts of like particles of sand or something heavier debris, it's going to be left in a rag, and you don't just, you know, spray it on and you go super aggressive from the beginning, because you pick something up and again you just keep rubbing it in the paint, scratching the paint. Rinseless washes are great for, yeah, like I said, in between like heavy washes, you know, summer and stuff. And then most of those products you can buy a bottle for 20 bucks. You literally have to put an ounce on a 32-ounce bottle like that. It lasts really long, and it's easy to apply. It doesn't streak, but again, it does not have any type of protection in it. All you do is literally rinseless wash it. That's what they call rinseless, because you don't have to rinse it afterwards. But yeah, and most of these products don't strip waxes. They don't have any like the greases in anything. They safe to use on wax cars, ceramic coated cars, and yeah, it's similar stuff to that. Waxes and sealants. The difference between waxes and sealants is waxes were invented, I think, in 1930s, and they're from carnauba, so they're from trees. Obviously, sealants. Most of the sealants are synthetic sealants. Sealants last for longer because obviously, you know, things have gone ahead and they have figured out better chemical compounds instead of, you know, the natural stuff. So if you want to wax your car, please do, but I'll just recommend just an easy spray on sealant. You know, it lasts for months, you know, and it's just gonna be easier to apply, and it's not gonna cake up any, you know, like you sometimes see specifically on black cars, you got the wax residue and stuff. Also, very, very important, do not wax plastic trim with the paste wax, because you're not gonna get it off. Even I can't get it off. So on Jeeps, on those big fenders, you know, the plastic fenders that come out and stuff, don't get any wax on it. It's impossible to get off. I don't know, I've tried everything. We tried steam, acid, whatever it is, it's not coming off. What else can you mess up? Let me think about it. Door jams.
Oh wow.
Yeah, no door jams you can't mess up. But just a little tip to clean door jams. This is normally a clean car, sometimes. So again, for door jams, use some rags that, you know, are not that precious. So because these are pretty expensive. That pack is about 15 bucks. You can get them from Costco, the yellow rags. They're really good. We use them as well, but we only use them on wheels and interiors. The main thing about microfiber towels is always remove the label, because label is what puts scratches in it. And I see it all the time, you know, in clients' cars. They have these rugs, like, you know, like stuffed in the doors, and that little label, that's what puts scratches in it. So always peel it off. So with door jams, if you got a truck or a Jeep and stuff, if you have to, you know, for the most part we try not to spray, because then it usually gets in interior parts and stuff. Just be careful. If you're not that handy with it, you can probably hit the bottom of it, but just try to again use something like rinseless wash or spray wax, or if they're really dirty, you can use even like a non-acidic wheel cleaner. Okay, and yeah, just don't use like a nice rags where you just go over it and just clean up like that, and then just grab a bottom and kind of just run it down. Pass it. Oh, Danny.
Man.
Oh, Danny.
She's neglected.
Yeah.
Long weekend.
A funny thing, specifically for new vehicles, they have in this corner, you can't see it from this side, this one doesn't, but usually in the point corner, there's actually a hole.
Weep hole.
Yeah, the drains, and then there's some sort of, I don't know, silicone or something dripping out of it. So once you get down your rags, throw them out afterwards. Just kind of clean the edges and stuff. And this is super important. You can't see it from here, but this part of the door jamb always picks up. Like, I'm not gonna cut my fingers off, but that part of the door jamb always collects a lot of dirt. And again, the longer you kind of leave it on, the harder it's going to be to clean up later on. And then when you get in the car, when you see that dirty door jamb, it just looks so horrible. It just make, like, when you have clean door jambs, like, it makes the whole car look so much better, you know. Because like this part, you passenger, you pick up passenger, and you know, they get in your car looks so shiny, but your door jamb's so crap. Yeah, not cool. Any questions on exterior wash? Anybody?
What about those sheep?
Sheep wool?
Yeah.
Sheep wool's good. Oh, talking about drying. So yeah, so pretty much most of the mitts are safe to, you know, to use it. Like I said, just remember, if it gets dirty, throw it out. You know what I mean? Again, you try to, you know, you try to save 10 bucks on a mitt, and you can just scratch your car, you know. One thing that you should never use, squeegees. Very, very bad. Like you see these, like specifically, like, you know, down south, the car washes. Oh my God! You know, the car comes out. It's easy because, you know, it pushes the water off. And guess what? First of all, they never clean them. Second of all, you pick a piece of dirt.
One piece of dirt, you gotta scratch.
Yeah, terrible. Chamois. Another thing, I don't like them personally. If you are very accurate with them, just after wash, if you dry them properly and you don't drop them on the floor, that they can still work, you know. But ideally, just use some drying towels, you know. But yeah, no for squeegees. Glass. Most of the spray waxes and sealants are safe on glass. If they're not, you're gonna hear blades skipping. And then just clean it with alcohol, you know, or like Windex, and then you can put Ranix on it and stuff, or something like that. Any other questions about exterior?
You like the Maguires, that the SO2 ceramic coat after you wash? They spray on while it's wet?
I don't like it.
You don't like it?
I personally don't like it because it has a really high content of ceramic coating in it, and you gotta work really fast. It flashes. So let's say back in the day with paste waxes, you apply the wax on the surface and you leave it till it hazes up, and then you kind of just, you know, pretty much like push it off, you know? And then it leaves the rest of the stuff that's underneath. That's the bond that it creates. With those Adams spray coatings, like, first of all, don't spray directly on a car because they're so thin that they go all over the place. So if you finish one side, you're gonna do one squirt, which is gonna go all over the place. Do it away from the car, like that, so it doesn't go all over the place. And literally, you gotta have another microfiber towel. You put it on. You put it on. Pretty much, you turn around and swap your rags, and just remove the residue. Otherwise, it flashes so quickly, and it's horrible to get it off. Real horrible. Any other questions on waxes or sealants? No. Yeah, and if you mess it up, most of the times with wax, like with the stuff that you can buy from AutoZone, if you mess it up, just wash it with Dawn. Usually comes off. If not, use alcohol, rubbing alcohol. If not, call Danny.
What about the Maguires? It's got the side-by-side bottles with the actual ceramic coat in it that you just...
Seriously, I don't want to sound like a hater. I don't know. We just don't use that kind of stuff.
Right.
It's fairly new thing to the market,
yes,
you know.
It is. That's why I'm asking.
Yeah, it's fairly new thing to the market because everyone's jumping on that ceramic train. You know, everything is ceramic. Everything is, you know.
Yeah, it's got like a little side pocket of the SO2, and then you got your soap.
Yeah.
You know, it tells you to add an ounce with soap.
Yeah, seriously, I have no idea, man. Sorry. Dusters. Be very careful with these dusters. You know, you can buy the thing on a stick, looks like a brush.
California duster.
Yeah, horrible. But again, if you look after it, I don't own one, but I know people do. Corvette owners, always see them, you know, wiping stuff around. The main thing is with all that kind of stuff that you keep rubbing up and down the car, make sure you look after it. You know, you don't put it on the floor, you don't throw it in the trunk. You put it back in the bag, put it away. That's just, you know, kind of the biggest tip about it. What else? Glass. Ranix works, you know. Ranix works. Obviously, let's say like our coatings work for years instead of weeks, you know, but there isn't that many customer grade products that you can buy because they're pretty hard to apply. You kind of need to know what you're doing, and if you mess it up, then you got to polish the glass, which is a real pain in the back. Windows. Let me show you how to clean windows quickly. So, like I said, there's different type of microfiber towels. Like these are 350 SMG. So, with glass, the harder the rag is, the easier it is to clean it. Because let's say to clean your windows with a let's say beach towel, you know how it streaks, and cleaning it with newspaper. It's hard. It's cleans a lot better. Also, it's not important for the rag to be plush on the glass because glass can take beating. You know, way more than paint. Of course, you got to remember the tint. You know, you do not want to use a home Windex on your glass. I can't say because I always mess up between D's and W's, so sorry for that. So yeah, just don't use Windex because it has ammonium in it. And most of the ceramic tint that's getting put on the cars now, it doesn't like it. You can
recommend using
a specific car glass cleaner. Spray Away is a really good one, cheap and cheerful, probably like $3-4. You can get it from AutoZone. There's all sorts of like Maguire's, and all of those are good. you know.
Adjustable window
But
on
spray away is what we use. $4, lasts you forever. So one of the things I like to do is, again, don't spray it on the glass. You can if you really want to, but I always like spraying on rag. And a good glass cleaner, don't be shy with it. You can put quite a lot on it, and it's not gonna streak. Okay. Start from one corner and make it pretty wet from beginning. Obviously, normally I would lower the glass afterwards to get the edge, but let's say before that, I'll just go over from corner to corner, literally tucking it with your fingers. Just tuck it in, pretty heavy. Go around the perimeter, the middle, and the biggest trick about that is the number 2 rag. Number 2 rag is the one that's going to remove all the residue. If you don't have at least 2 rags, don't clean the windows. It's just going to be pain in the back. You just got to keep going over and over and over till you literally apply so much friction that it just dries out because you keep rubbing, you know. But yeah, it's really easy to do a 2 rag system. And obviously on the windshield, sometimes you got to put your arm underneath it just to get to that edge here. And again, with the good glass cleaner, put a lot of the cleaner on it, and then it's gonna do the job. Because back in the day, you put it on and you just keep scraping off. This stuff mostly actually evaporates. You know, this is from Switzerland, somewhere. No, Germany. This is actually not that expensive. It's probably about $10. What else? Good old clay barring. Okay, guys, stop cleaning cars, please. Stop cleaning cars. It's a myth that clay bar removes scratches. It doesn't whatsoever. What happens if you look at the paint? Let's say if there's a scratch. So this is a paint. It's got little scratches and one deeper one, you know, like a cardiogram. When you use clay bar, running it over, it removes the dirt particles from the scratch. The scratch doesn't disappear. It only exfoliates the dirt out of it. So scratch stays. And guess what? The more scratches and more dirt you have on the clay bar, the more you rub it in to the rest of the car. Okay? Technically, for a black car, if you clay it, you gotta polish it, because you will see it's scuffed up, you know. Only way I would do it is after the wash, put some spray wax on it and use a specifically soft clay bar. Okay? And clay bar is super safe on the glass. You can scrub it as much as you want. You can scrub it on plastic, but like to get all the bugs off and stuff, just use a soft clay, because it has to be specifically soft. If you use medium or heavy clay, you will scratch a car.
What about your bug and tar remover sprays? You would recommend them or not?
Yeah. Good point. I forgot about that. There's the specific bug sprays, and bug sponges as well. If you do like a long trip, if you go to Florida and back.
Yep. Love bugs.
Yeah. They're called literally bug juices and whatnot. You know. Put it on, again, not in direct sunlight, leave it on for like 5-10 minutes, they come off really easy. Like with soap, it's gonna be scrubbing, clay and all that stuff, and scratching, yeah. But that, because there's so much acid in bug stomachs and stuff, bugs, that whatever chemical compound is in the product, it just breaks it up and it's super easy to remove it. Once you start scrubbing something hard, you're using it wrong, you know? Put some more product on. Any questions about that? I'll quickly show you how to do tire shine. Really efficient. Try not to use a spray, please do. But the problem with spray on tire shine, 2 things. One, it gets all over the place. Okay, and let's say if you have clean wheels and you spray tire shine on it, with rubber it bonds okay. But if you spray it over the wheels, it's greasy. It's gonna collect dust, you know, and dirt. Also, if you spray it on your drive, you're not gonna get off with nothing. Don't ask me how I know. Yeah, some clients, at least you call me up, they're like, I can't get off. So, and you can't. You gotta use the super degreasers, whatever. These are the coolest things. Little sponges, you can get block ones, you can get round ones. Put a little bit on the side. And you can use, again, you know, there's also all types of tire shines. But a really good one is Maguire's tire gel. It lasts forever. It's one of the best ones. The good thing with these is you got the edge, okay? So you can get this edge of the tire without actually putting it all over the wheels, you know? Well, Danny, why is your car so low? You can't get into it. But
You need to lift that up so you can get to the tire.
yeah, you can lift it up. You're gonna break the fender off. But in this kind of occasion, what we would normally do would just keep rolling the card till we get everything. But yeah. But if you get a sponge to apply tire shine, get the one with these angles, these edges, because then you can get into.
What do you think about all the blackout sprays that you can spray up under your car?
Protective coatings.
Oh, I mean, they call it blackout. It's Maguire's blackout. Just, you know, plastic wheel wells.
Oh, yeah.
Your plastic
That's what I was
trim.
gonna ask about, like trim.
Trim
I have a
plastic.
lot of plastic black trim on.
Yeah, for trim the best product is called Solution Finish.
Solution finish.
Solution Finish. Again, we're gonna list it up. It costs about $60 for a bigger bottle. Apply it, like put it on, and then just literally remove it after about a minute. It's really easy to apply. It has dyes in it, because like all these sprays. Again, one thing is you're gonna get it all over the place. Don't try not to spray anything around. Again, if you're confident, you know you can, but I don't, because I get all over the place. And all it does, it shines it up. It doesn't actually bond with the plastic. It just adds a coating, you know, and that washes off, you know, and bakes out in the sun. But Solution Finish it was started as a professional product, but now you can buy it on Amazon as well. $25. Yeah, $25 here. That kind of bottle can last you forever, you know.
Okay.
Put it on with a little applicator. Then always wear gloves, otherwise your nails gonna look nasty. And yeah, and just buff it off, and then throw the rag out.
Okay.
Any other questions, guys? It's been a while, isn't it? Keep boring you and stuff. Thanks for coming. Yeah. Any other questions, guys? We'll probably do a couple videos at some point, so you don't have to stand here all day on vacuuming car and stuff. With vacuuming car, the biggest thing to remember is the easiest thing to remember. And I didn't do it for about the first year of when I started doing it. Started detailing cars. Most of the vacuums has the reverse option that you can blow the air out. Okay. Put it in reverse and blow everything out first, because that moves the dirt out of all the fibers and what's it called, fabrics. It moves dirt around, and then you can easily vacuum it out. Because if you just started vacuuming, you're kind of hitting the dirt deeper and deeper. So just put it in reverse, blow it all out, vacuum it, wipe it down, and re-vacuum it. You know, pretty much like that. And then you can get rigid vacuums from Home Depot for about $90, the square ones, and you can get attachment which is called Detailer Set. It has a really long, like, the pipe, you know, and it also has yeah, it has attachment with the brushes, and that's really good on fabric, because again, you agitate it, it just moves up, and then the vacuum just sucks it up. It's real cool, really easy. Any other questions, guys? Don't want to bore you for too long. No? All right, well, listen, seriously, this is the first time we're doing it. I want to say thanks to Pro Speed as well, you know, for letting us host it here. You've been amazing. Thank you so much for participating in this. Thank you. I hope you learned something.